and we're so excited to be partnering with Cook County Higher Education and other wonderful organizations in our area to present the Lunch and Learn series. We're going to be exploring topics related to aging the fourth Wednesday of the month from noon to 1. And I'll right now put in a super quick shameless plug for the February session, which will be called Finding Your A-Team. And how many of us remember, this will show our age, Mr. T, or if I say, I love it when a plan comes together. Anybody remember that interesting show from the 1970s? Anyway, but the idea is that we know that aging well is a team sport. And we're going to be hearing from organizations in our county that provide services for older adults. We'll have representatives from North Shore Health, from the county, from Care Partners, from the Hub. We'll explain what it is that we've got for you and help you begin to think about some of the ways in which there are supportive services here. And I will also say, with thanks to a generous donor, the first 20 registrations get a free lunch. And the lunch that we are going to be offering is actually from the Hub, the senior dining, and they're going to give us some yummy taco salad with all the fixings. So lots of exciting stuff coming up. For today, I want to thank so much the folks from area art organizations that have agreed to come and help us know what they do and how we can get involved. I'll just briefly say who is here, and if I forget somebody, let me know. And then I'll be asking each one to say a little bit about the organization. Next to me, I have Dave Coleman.
Dave's good enough.
Dave Coleman from the North Shore Swing Band, right?
Correct.
Got it. And then we also have Jean Bushman from the Northwoods Fiber Guild. Jean, can you wave your hand if you've got a hand to wave? Otherwise, say, there she is. We have Sarah Beggs from the North House Folk School. And Sue Hennessy from the Grand Marais Playhouse. And unfortunately, we were hoping that we would hear today or have Lila from the Grand Marais Art Colony. She was not able to attend via Zoom. Also, Chris from the Hub was not able to attend, but I'll be telling a little bit more about at least what the Hub has to offer. So I think we can get started. I'm saying just a couple words about aging and creativity. The first significant study of the health benefits of arts participation happened back in 2001, and it was initiated, not surprisingly, by the National Endowment for the Arts. And they looked at 300 participants. They looked at 150 folks who were engaged or involved in a community arts program of some kind or community art group. And then 150 people who were not, who were in a control group. They did their best to make sure that the folks were similar as far as ability for functioning and that kind of thing, and their activity levels when they started this study. And the folks who were studied averaged 80 years of age. So this was not, just the young, older, this was all areas of older adults. And it probably will not come as too much of a surprise to anybody, at least of our presenters, that, and I'm just going to read this because this is sort of an amazing statement. The study found that by all measurements of physical health, mental health, and social functioning, there was stabilization and actual improvement for those in the arts groups, while in the control group, there was a decline. The study found that participants in the art groups used less medication, had fewer doctor visits, experienced elevated mood, showed an increase in the level of independent functioning, did better on scales for depression, loneliness, and morale, and exhibited an increase in the number of activities that they participated in, which to me, that's a wow. And I'll be sending, emailing information about all of this to you if you want to check into some of these. And further studies are continuing to say, yep, creativity in aging is a great thing. Besides all of these wonderful kind of social benefits, there's also, we know that our brains don't stop growing and learning. A healthy brain does not stop growing and learning throughout our lifespan. And older adult brains just love to learn, especially new things. Our brains light up like Christmas trees when we are engaged in a new activity. So it's kind of like the rest of our body, right? You know, the old use it or lose it idea. And the same is true of our brains as well. So anyway, this is your brain on art, and it's really good. We'll put it like that. So without further ado, I'm so excited to ask these folks to help us know a little bit about their organizations and a little bit about how we can get involved. And there will be time afterwards to answer any questions that you may have of any of these good folks. So Dave, are you okay starting?
Absolutely.
He's right here. I'm going to scoot over a little so you can see him better. There we go.
So my name is Dave Coleman, and we have lived for the last, I guess, 6 years full-time on Clearwater Lake up the trail. Preceded that for 40 years of an academic career, faculty position in Detroit, Michigan. And I played music since I was in junior high school. I'm currently 70, I'll be 75 in March. I think there's been only one period in my life. It was about a 10-year period when I had to not play. And it just, being in a position when you're not playing and not making music is just, for me, absolutely intolerable. I'm representing the North Shore Swing Band. Hopefully most of you have heard us play. Started out about 25 years ago as a 4-member little community thing. Typically now on any given gig, we have 18 players, many saxophones, trumpets, trombones, percussion, singers, et cetera, et cetera. And so the 18 piece does not represent the depth of our organization, because we have, in many cases, we have 6 or 7 trumpet players that we can call on, and sometimes they'll be in different places. They'll be south for the winter, and so it's a synergistic group that keeps reinventing itself. We typically do probably 2 on average rehearsals a month, usually at the community center, and typically 1 or 2 performances a month. Recently, we've been doing monthly performances at the folk school, which have been a lot of fun. We've had good turnout, good audience for that as well. And then as we go into the season, we're up and down the Gunflint Trail and doing radio waves and doing other performance, Fisherman's Picnic, et cetera, things that we can do to support the community as much as possible. The age of our musicians ranges. Occasionally, we've had a really high quality high school student that joins us, and that's always a lot of fun. Currently, our most senior musician, and he's an excellent musician, is 90 years old. So it definitely covers a range. And in the last probably 3 or 4 years, we've had people join us that had not played. We've had 2 people join us in the last year, saxophone players that had not performed since high school. So that could be 20, 25 years ago. We help them find an instrument. They come to rehearsals, they join us, and for the most part, they come up to speed and they have a really, really good time. We want to be as open as possible to musicians joining us. And it's pretty easy. If you get hold of Kathy Bolstead or myself, Kathy's 75. She's been the leader of the group for many, many years, a very versatile retired teacher and performer. So we'd be happy to make those connections as well. We also just want to mention one other creative performing possibility, and that is not the swing band, but many of us perform with the the Borealis chorale and orchestra, and quite a number of us were involved. I think there were 70 people singing at the Christmas concert, and there were about 20 people, 22 people performing in the orchestra. That is also open to anybody. They will be repeating a version of that in the fall. So if you just keep your eyes open to social media, both the orchestra and the chorale are open to everyone. All you have to have is a desire to perform and sing and enjoy it. And Karina Roth will be the person to contact. She's the new conductor. So in short, if you have a musical gift and you haven't done it for a while, there's opportunities and we'd encourage you. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dave. I have a quick question right now. So what kind of instruments are in the swing band? Like, can I drag up my clarinet?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. In the reed section, we have clarinet, flute, saxophones of all kinds, from soprano sax all the way down to a new member has his monstrous baritone sax. So the answer is yes.
All right.
David, not for you to necessarily answer, but I have heard that there is another group that does during the winter season that is a community members, that is a music group. Do you know anything about that? The Boreal?
I talked about that.
Yeah. So just a reminder, you guys, that is another option too.
Yeah.
And we'll have names and links and so forth. I'll ask all of our presenters to just send that information to me via email so that I can get the information out to all of you at the end of this week. So
yeah. And just one more comment, Kelsey, the Boreal Orchestra and Chorale is not doing a winter spring concert this year. So at the minute, we're doing one concert a year, and that may change, but it's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
It's great to know, especially if people want to plan for the future.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate that. And I guess if there, let's maybe hold off to the end and then we can do questions at the end. I want to make sure everybody has a chance to say something about their organization. Jean, would you be willing to tell us a little bit about the Northwoods Fiber Guild?
Oh, Jean, we can't hear you. I'm going to push the asterisk unmute button. Maybe that will help you if you can find that one.
Okay,
There you go.
let's see if this works. Can you hear me now?
You're great.
Yes. Well, the Northwoods Fiber Guild was established about 30 years ago here in Cook County, and it is very alive and well and continues to grow. It started with about 10 or 12 members. Now the numbers are about 70. We have both men and women, primarily women, but we have a few men members as well. And it's open to enrollment. Anybody who's interested can join. All you have to do is pay a $5 to $15 membership fee and you're in. And what started as a somewhat limited number of fiber arts, weaving, spinning, dyeing, knitting, now includes many, many more. So we have things like, well, of course, we have quilting and felting, and one called paper crafts, which is making books and other kinds of things with paper. We have beadwork, and and many of the meetings are held, well, there are subgroups because of the large size of the guild. We have a quilting group, a knitting group, or more than one actually, knitting group. Let's see, every September or every December, early December, there's a sale where you can enter your materials and have them sold. And the guild organizes that, takes care of it. And in addition to that, there are 5 meetings a year. Just through the winter, there are no summer meetings. And let's see, what a newsletter. They do put out a newsletter, I think every month, but it is not mailed out anymore. It comes over the internet. And but you could go to the hub if you are interested, where the files are kept, and get access to the reading material there, magazines, books, and the history of the Fiber Guild. So although it isn't limited, obviously, to the elderly, we have many, in fact, very young, still in high school members. Those of us who are in the senior group, and I'm one, I'm past 90 now, and still very active in the knitting group, the quilting group, and I have a little Harding group, which is a Norwegian embroidery style. So let's see, if you have any questions about this, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thanks, Jean. So far, nothing in the chat. So I think we'll save some questions for the end.
Okay.
Oh, Christy, you're muted.
I thought I unmuted me, but nope, I did not. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I've got some questions, but I'll save them to the end too. And so Sarah Beggs is here from the North House Folk School. And Sarah, can you share a little bit about what you all do and how people can get involved?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much for having me here. My name's Sarah Beggs. I'm a program manager here at North House. And North House is located right in Grand Marais, at the bottom of 5th Avenue off Highway 61. And we started about 25 years ago, just had our 25th anniversary last year. And for those of you who may know Mark Hansen, he got together with a few other inspired locals who were interested in helping more people learn about traditional craft and cooperative learning. And the folk school got its start in 2 Forest Service buildings down here by the harbor. And since then, we've grown and grown, and now we offer over 300 classes a year. And traditional Northern craft is a little hard to define, but a lot of things that we do here at North House are focused on the place we live. So we do everything from blacksmithing to woodworking, fiber arts, basketry, foods courses, Northern ecology, which can include birding courses, geology courses, astronomy. We're doing a lot on campus, and we really like to get beginners involved too. So a lot of our classes are open to any skill level. Anybody who wants to jump in and learn a new skill, and you know, it's always fun to see folks wondering about how they can make their life more sustainable too. Like, oh, how do I sew my own clothes, or make a quilt, or learn how to weave, or make a knife in the blacksmithing shop, build a canoe. So there's so many different ways to get involved and bring craft into your life. And it can just be for fun too. It doesn't have to be, something that you're using all the time, or that gets you paddling in the water. But so North House workshops tend to be, most of them tend to be about 2 to 4 days long. So it's a little bit of an investment in time, but you get a lot out of those few days. And it's just a non-competitive learning environment. And so we really encourage folks to come in and share their own stories, and really connect with their fellow students and the instructor. And we do mostly classes and workshops for adults, but we also have some youth programs too. And also most of our classes are on site here on campus, but we also offer online classes as well as free webinars too. And we've got a big list of webinars that you can go back and watch at our website at northhouse.org. And in addition to courses, we do all sorts of events throughout the year. So coming up soon, we'll have Fiber Week. And we're thankful to be partnering with the Fiber Guild too for a program during Fiber Week. And this is a week full of fiber-focused courses. And then we have a fun Friday program day, mostly speakers and some mini courses for folks who are signed up for Fiber Week classes. We've got Wood Week in March, so focused on those woodworking skills, and special speakers come in for that too. We've got our Northern Landscapes Festival in June, so that really celebrates our place in the North. We've got birding classes, lichen classes. We got some foods classes too, and geology. So just really focusing on our special place we live here, and just how to learn a little bit more about the things you see every day. And it's a fun time because, hopefully spring is actually springing, and by early June, you never know sometimes, but it's a really fun weekend. And then in the summer, we've got a lot going on too. The Wood and Boat Show. We've got a lot of artisan demonstrators that come out, and folks bring in their beautiful handmade wooden boats to show off on campus, and just a lot of other speakers and fun programs going on too. So that is a mid-June event, and a fun time to stop by campus. And then in the fall, we also have events as well. We've got our big Unplugged fundraiser, which usually includes a big concert and some programming. And then in late November, we've got our Winter's Gathering festival, which includes a big film festival and many programs going on campus. So in addition to courses, there's just lots of reasons to just swing on by campus, or swing to our website and look around. And a great way to learn about what we do is sign up for our newsletter. And there's a link on our homepage. And in addition, we've got volunteer opportunities too. So just so many different ways to get involved. And we're always happy to chat with anybody about what they might be interested in, if they think a certain type of class might be for them, or if a certain type of volunteer opportunity might be available. So let's see if there's anything else I want to chat about. We also have a school store on campus too. So lots of wonderful books in there about craft, and then many goods made by artisans that we work with, a lot of handmade goods. So they make great gifts. Happy to answer questions when question time comes. And thanks again.
Thanks so much, Sarah. I really appreciate that. I laughed when I first moved up here. I called a couple people and said, around here, you just can't spit without hitting an event. Like, if I'm not doing something, it's my own darn fault. There's a lot going on. And North House is certainly one of the reasons why that is the case. So thank you. And Sue Hennessy from the Grand Marais Playhouse. Welcome. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Hi, sure. The Grand Marais Playhouse just celebrated its 50th season. So it was started by a group of community women when they're looking for things for kids to do back in 1969 to keep kids off drugs by combining adults and students mentors together. They are also the group that started the pool, before the Y, the pool. But anyway, we've been going continuously. Every summer at first, started at the old Congregational Church, which no longer exists, and then moved to the old Lutheran Church, which is now Betsy Bowen Studios. We were there for 25 years. And then with the community, built the Arrowhead Center for the Arts, which is on the school district's ground, and where we've been since 1998. I'm originally from Grand Marais. I came back to help my parents stay in their house for 17 years, and then I decided to stay. So that's kind of what brought me back to Grand Marais, and then just my love of community theater, and especially this community theater, I decided to stay. So there's a gazillion ways you can participate in the Playhouse. It's a volunteer organization. I'm the only paid staff member. We did hire a part-time office manager now. Yay! But otherwise, everything is volunteer. From acting to building the set, to painting the set, to building the costumes, to finding the props, to making the props. You don't have to have any experience. Or you can be very experienced. And we take everybody. Every show has all the same needs. Our summer productions, we do a summer, we're going back to, in 2023, we're going back to our summer repertory. So we do 2 shows at the same time, the last 2 weeks of July and the first 2 weeks of August. And that's our big show numbers to sell tickets to our visiting community as well as our local community. But all of our performers are local. I do hire visiting artists for directors and for professional theater artists that help teach us how to do things better. So like last year we had a costumer come in to help us set up a shop, and we enjoyed working together so much. We were in the conference room here at the school, and we had so much fun that we decided to make part of my office a costume shop so that we can work together as we're building stuff. But there's also opportunities to just take projects home as well. And that can be from hemming, a bunch of pant legs for a student show where everybody has to have black pants, and I need an army of sewers to do that, to seamstresses. We have costume storage full of beautiful, beautiful costumes that have been made by local seamstresses and sewers that are treasures of ours. And we have, we'll take every level of ability, and it helps make the Playhouse better. Set construction, it goes from basic, just platforms on legs to more intricate prop things. Like for the last show, we built puppets and things like that. So I can go on and on about the various ways you can participate. So you can act in a show. We have ways to help people act. If you're afraid of memorization, we have people, we can put in-ear monitors in your ear, and we can actually feed you lines during a show if that's a concern. We have ways to make it accessible to everybody. All the light board and the soundboards, we now are digital, so you don't have to be able to get to the light booth to run the lights or run the sound. If that's something you're interested in, it's hitting the go button on an iPad. So we try to make everything accessible to everybody. There's also, if you want to just see the show, we need ushers for every show. And that's just handing out programs and or selling concessions during intermission. And then you get to see the show for free. So we have poster design, poster distribution. If you want to just help us hand out posters before a show, if you happen to be going up to Portage, or happen to go up the trail, or happen to go to the West End, just to help us take posters out to those areas, that's a huge help. Props is an interesting one. Every show has props, and a prop is something that an actor holds on to. It's in their hands. So every show is different, but we have people who will go to Goodwill or the thrift stores and seek out these items that we're looking for. Like maybe we need a cigarette case from the 40s, or maybe we need a picture. One time we needed a picture of 3 men in the services, but they had to be in different wings of the service of World War II. So I needed a photo of 3 brothers in 3 different uniforms. And we actually came up with that because somebody locally. So it's weird thing. Some people just like to hunt and peck and find things like that. So if you're into scoping out thrift stores in Duluth or up the shore or even in town locally, every show has a prop list that we need completed. And some things you might make, some things you might want to just find. So if you are a hunter gatherer type, we have a job for you. So I think that I can answer questions more than, but we always have a good time. We always have a sense of community about us. Focusing on the show is always a very positive experience. And we work as a team, and it's just a lot of fun. So I hope you join us if you're interested.
Thank you so much, Sue. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I got to do a show once and it was a lot of fun. I thought maybe I was gonna like totally not remember how to do anything, but they were all nice to me and I managed to not forget hardly any lines at all. So yay. So I wanted to also just mention the hub. I think that Jean had talked about that that's where the Fiber Guild has their what's the word I want? It's but their documentation and so forth is stored at the hub. The hub is also a spot where people can go to enjoy kind of artsy craftsy activities. They have every Tuesday and Thursday. They call it crafts, cards, and coloring. And at 12:30, you can just show up, and there are lots of craft supplies that they have on hand that you can use, or you can bring your own stuff and just hang out with other people as they are doing their crafts. There's also something called a make and take project, which usually is scheduled throughout the month. And something that I think is very cool about that is that it tends to be intergenerational. There's, for example, a homeschool group, and the kids from that sometimes show up, and they make those little art projects as well. So you can kind of be elbow to elbow with folks who are all different ages for that. I know I have a young adult niece who has sometimes participated, Marie, in those projects. I see here on February 9th, they're going to do a make and take project. They paint a heart-shaped bowl at 10 o'clock. So just strikes me as a kind of a gentle way to enter into, the world of arts and crafts in a kind of a relaxed and informal environment. So I think with that, I am going to open it up for any questions.
Christy, I wonder if you want to do any little blurb about our colony at all as well, as long as they were not able to attend today.
Yeah, they were not. And I am unencumbered with knowledge about the art colony, except that I knew I better invite them because they were a thing. And I know that they have had classes. I know that they have supported artists in various mediums in various ways. I think they also have like a residence program, don't they? Someone here who knows the deal can tell me more about that, or say something more to us about that. I think they have like a writer's workshop that they do. I want to say it's every other year. And one of these years, I'm going to do it, doggone it. If any, and again, I'm going to be just sending you probably a 3-page email with lots of links and the things that you can do to check out all of these great organizations and contact information and that kind of thing.
Perfect. Well, I was just going to toss out that they also have the Arts Festival in the summer. So if you wanted to be a person that would just go see beautiful art, or if you wanted to volunteer, I'm sure that they'd be very happy to have you join in their crew for the Arts Festival. Also not mentioned as the Cook County Community Education. And they have an arm that does cooking classes and things. They just had a LEFSA one. And I think that very regionally specific, that people love that in our neck of the woods. But like Valentine's Day last year, they did a cookie class that you could come with yourself or with loved ones and make cookies together. So lots of options for cooking, but every activities as well. And it looks like we have a question in the chat already, which I would love Sarah to address, but would you be able to talk about local discounts, how people tap in, maybe the work study program?
Yes, I'm so glad somebody reminded me about that. Thanks, Sharon. Yeah, so residents of Cook County can take advantage of North House's local discount, which means you get 25% off tuition. So that is a really good help for accessing our classes. And we also have a scholarship program. So if classes still feel out of reach financially, we have a very healthy scholarship program. So the next big course release we're doing is March 1st, and we'll also open up our scholarship applications for about a month. So that's a really good time to pay attention to our website, and you can just call our front office and sign up for a class, get a spot saved, and then apply for a scholarship via the scholarship application on our website. So another easy way to access classes. And then Kelsey mentioned our work study program, and we've got a couple different ways to get involved as a volunteer and earn course credit. So we've got our Wednesday work study program, which is great for locals, and you just drop by campus 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. every Wednesday and help us set up our classrooms for the upcoming workshops for the weekend. So it's a little bit more physical work for that particular opportunity. And then we also have an extended work study program too, which tends to be a 2-week lodging included opportunity for folks who are, typically coming in from out of town, and they can earn course credit that way too. So there's several different ways to help make the workshops and classes a little bit more financially accessible. Thanks for that question.
Love it. Thanks, Sarah. Anybody else interested in asking questions? You're welcome to unmute yourself. Otherwise, I think Christy has them to fill some space while you think, if you'd like.
Yeah, Kelsey, I have a general question, and it goes back to your comment, the comment about you can't spit without hitting an event. And that's the one thing that, Bruce and I are trying to keep up with everything that's going on. And then so we could set priorities and stuff. Some people do newsletters, some people, do Facebook. Any tips for keeping up to date on what's coming up in the next month or two?
It's a great question. Sarah, do you want to comment first, and then we'll go around?
You asked that one more time. I'm so sorry. I started typing something in the chat.
Just what's the best way to find out about your events? Is it newsletter?
Yeah.
Is it going to your website? Is it Facebook?
No. Yeah, northhouse.org is our website. And then signing up for our e-newsletter is a really great way to find out when we have our new course releases and find out about those upcoming events.
Does that help people get a jump on maybe signing up for something before things fill too?
Yeah, and a really good way to get into those really popular classes is becoming a member. And so if you give us a call at North House, and there's also a membership option on our website, you can sign up a day before the regular registration date. And those are all shared in our e-newsletter.
Love that. Sue, would you mind talk about how people should best find your information out, on how they can volunteer, or even what's happening for events?
Sure. Yeah, we have a website as well, grandmaryplayhouse.com. If you're interested in volunteering, there's a place to sign up as a volunteer and tell us what you're most interested in. Like I said, I do have an office person now, and so we're going to get better at sending out notices as to like, okay, we're going to be painting this week, or we're going to be constructing this week, or like right now, we have auditions for Alice in Wonderland coming up on February 6th. It's a high school community focus, so high school priority casting, but it's open from the grade 6 through adult. And then we start building it. And as you know, Alice in Wonderland is quite bizarre. So we have lots of bizarre things to create. We have mushrooms to create. We have caterpillars, so a lot of crafting is going to be happening in those costumes and set pieces. And so you can sign up. You can be a member and you'll get a regular newsletter. If you bought a ticket, you'll probably be on the same email list, and we'll send out, we'll be better at sending out constant updates as to what is coming up and when our work schedule looks like. That's kind of spontaneous because we're in a shared space. So I kind of go with volunteers as when we can work, but most construction and stuff will happen on weekends or evenings. Just generally, but they fluctuate based on, we can't paint the set till we build the set, can't light the set till we build the set. So things kind of follow sequentially on each production. I also post on Boreal News. I try to do I have a backstage buzz in the Cook County News Herald to try to once a month I throw something in there. But our what's new on our website is the most common, but I try to, and I go on the radio as much as I can to keep things updated as well. So I try to get the information out there because we want as many people to come play with us as possible.
I love that, Sue. And she didn't mention it, but there is seating available at Arrowhead Center for the Arts that is accessible too. So if you have somebody that needs seating that just wants to attend, there is options like that. David, you want to talk about how people are best to find out about your information?
Well, we have a presence on all of the social media, particularly Facebook, a lot of traction there. In addition, all of our performances, we have them on the calendars for WTIP and Boreal.org. Suggestion would be come to one of our gigs and walk up at intermission and say, "Hey, I used to play clarinet. You know, what do you think?" That would be a good way to introduce each other.
I see this great combination of they could come to North House and talk to North House at the same time they are going to listen to you play, right?
Exactly.
All in one. The lacrossing. Well, somebody asked, what do you do if you want to learn a craft? Embroidery, painting rocks. Well, I know that we're all doing a little bit of that. Sarah, Sue, maybe you want to mute and talk a little bit about the teaching element. I know that you do some of that too.
Yeah. We definitely do some embroidery classes, and we have a wonderful teacher who actually comes in from Arizona, Tasha Miller Griffith, who is just so fantastic with creative mending and creative embroidery. And she also offers online classes too. So that's a really great way to step into the embroidery world. We don't do sort of like the lighter crafts. Our crafts get pretty serious. So like, the painting rocks might be something that's a little more of like a family activity at one of our events. So stopping by, any of our big events during the year and just checking out what we have for, those demo tables and the artisans who are, showing what they do. There's often ways to, participate in a really quick way. If you just want to like dip your toe into the craft world and just see if you're interested in something, stopping by our events is a great way to do that.
Love that. Sue?
Yeah, I mean, everything we do is like team activity pretty much. We like it. We do theater's a collaboration activity. So everything works better when we have more people doing it. So we have people of various abilities do everything. So for painting, if you are a beginning painter, you can come and work with somebody. Scenic art is very similar to visual art degrees. It's just on a much bigger scale. We make wood grain things. We paint scenic backgrounds. We did a workshop. I hired Jan Attridge, whose history as a scenic artist, and she came in and we did a seed drop. But I still use that seed drop over and over again. But it was a community event. We had 7 or 8 local people painting on that, so we all learned as we do it. We do that with costuming. I think we have Eddie DeBevic and Sarah Jane Tompkins are kind of our leading costumers right now, but we have like 8 people on a volunteer list of varying levels. And so you can start basic or come in the middle or come with experience, and we can do things together, and you learn from each other, and we all just benefit from that. And so same with carpentry skills. I learned to be a lead carpenter starting at a theater, and I ended up as lead carpenter at the Guthrie. So you can learn as you go and just keep getting better. And our sets and things get as good as the people who work on them. If we have lots of people, if you saw Rudolph, that was a community extravaganza to make the puppets and the scenery and to paint the set. It was not done by a small group of people. That was a large group of 70 people that helped create that event. So, and like I said, we have a good time doing it. So I hope that answered the question.
Well, that's great, Sue. I was going to toss out too, if you were looking to do sort of that more introductory level, you could always bring those ideas to the Cook County Community Education. They are willing to do sort of that lighter level of arts and crafts kind of thing. Also, you can go to Joy & Co. They have a whole Make It station down there that you can go and do crafts there, that they have the materials, and it's just an opportunity for you to do things maybe that you're just kind of starting to dig into. You're not really at a higher level. David, would you maybe talk about, is there any learning opportunities? Maybe is there anything connection with Music Association that you know of for those that might be wanting to get into music, but maybe don't feel quite so confident yet?
I guess I'm not well versed in that, so I can't give you an honest answer. I know that if you have a voice and you want to sing in the Borealis chorale, you always get better when you're surrounded by fellow musicians. And so that's always a good way to learn and to enhance your skills.
That's awesome.
That was my technique, is always stand next to someone who sings good and louder than you. So that's what I do. I wanted to speak just real briefly too about kind of going back to trying to figure out how to keep up with everything that is going on here, because it can be a little overwhelming. And I guess I have again, I try on a regular basis to hit WTIP.org, boreal.org, and actually visit Cook County. Sometimes they'll let me know what's going on in the way of events and things. Also, Joan Farnham still has that wonderful North Shore art scene. And I've just been so impressed because so often well, first of all, my brother, who is a photographer, sometimes has photos on there. So you need to watch it just for that. His name's Mark Tessier and he's amazing. Anyway, but besides that, she gives a lot of really good information, or they do now, about all sorts of art things that are going on in our community. And I was going to speak too, just a tiny bit, because again, as someone who is relatively new to this community, it can be a little bit intimidating to get your toe in the water in a place where there are so many people. I tell people all the time, it's like being in the Marvel universe. Everyone's got a superpower and you just don't know about it. You know, the person who's waiting on you is actually an award-winning poet, or the person who's stocking at the co-op is actually a nationally renowned fiber artist. And trying to dip your toe in can feel a little intimidating. Like I'm crocheting with red heart yarn, people, So I guess, again, I'm encouraged to know about the Cook County Community Ed. And Kelsey, do you connect with that? Is that through the community center, or who is that? Who does
Yeah,
it?
it's not through the community center. So that's a different arm. Tricky when we call everything Cook County, right?
Right.
Cook County Community Center has its own services it provides. Master gardeners, to be specific, just in case you are interested in gardening as an
Okay.
art.
So
Community
the-
education is actually out of ISD 166, the school district. So they're a great partner, and that's one of the reasons they are working more with the concept of public and community and that level.
Yeah.
And just in case you didn't hear me mention it before, the Music Association might be an option for you if you're looking for that piece of music engagement. Is a different option for those that maybe want to get more understanding about lessons.
And I would suspect that, for example, if someone was interested in learning more about fiber arts, that contacting Jean, and there might be somebody in the organization who would be happy to at least tell somebody about what it's like, or help them find out how they can learn more. Sometimes, especially as we're beginning, those one-on-ones can be a little less intimidating than walking into a space where you feel like everybody knows what's going on except for, me.
Yeah, on that note, I think that down at the local yarn shop, they have classes where you can go and working on your sweater or working on your scarf, and it's just a community, so you can bring in whatever projects you have, or you could be really right from the start. I have questions and need a mentor to help me learn how to craft in that way. That's an option too. So we are a really bountiful place, aren't we, for resources, you guys? I think that every time we think of one of the layers of what we do, there's another string that it pulls off to another connection of opportunity. And what I would say to you is, you might have your own talents too that maybe we aren't utilizing the best, as Christy was mentioning. We all have our super cape in the back, right? If you haven't been sharing that, maybe there's a place in town that you could be sharing those skills and be a teacher, not just a learner. Any last? Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to have to step out. So please feel free to send me questions or anything. And I'd love to talk to anybody at length about the Playhouse anytime. So thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Sue.
Thanks. Yep.
Any other questions people are having or thoughts? I mean, you're really spot on about a lot of the questions about affordability, about how you access things, how you find the information out. I think, yeah, go ahead, Gwen. I pushed the unmute button.
Yeah, okay. I took a list of all the things that are going on, and I'm from the Cook County Council on Aging at the hub. And I would like to advertise little things that to encourage our people to participate in. So is that okay with all of you, that I do exactly that? And I will contact those places that give me the current things, because we do a monthly newsletter, And that's where they'd get it right then and there, information. Okay? So if it's okay with everybody, that's fine.
I think you get
Okay,
approved
thank you.
for anybody. Nobody's gonna say, don't promote my event, I'm pretty sure. I would have mentioned that a lot of the events that we're talking about too are multi-generational. And that is sort of a lot of joy in sharing our experiences with people of all ages. So, and if there's something happening in the community that you want to have happen that you're not seeing, I would say go to any of these groups that you've talked to today and say, hey, could you help me direct me to the right place? And I think we all talk amongst ourselves a fair share. And I'm sure they would help recommend you to the right place if you're not seeing it and you want to see something happen in this community.
Yeah. Well, I think unless there are more questions, I think we're probably good to shovel. Think about
Take some
shoveling.
time. Yes.
Prepare for shoveling. Thank you again to the presenters and to the folks who participated in this lunch and learn. We'll be emailing to you as much of this information as I can gather. You can look for that probably Friday or so. And certainly when I send that email, feel free to contact me with any questions and I'll see if we can connect you to an organization or a group or a person who might be able to help you out.
Christy, before you leave, maybe you would mention the guide that you made that has a list of resources that isn't everything that we've been talking about today, but is a guide for resources in the community. If people are looking for some support or options for where they might go to get a laptop or where they might go for some things.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes. Happy to put in a plug for Aging Well Resources. If you go to agingwellresources, all one word, .org, it is a website with a list of resources for older adults, specifically in Cook County. We know that there are places where we can go to find information about help for older adults, but some of the bigger search engines, if you try to enter something in, you find out something that's available in Red Wing, but isn't available here, or something. So we tried to make a resource that is simple, easy to use, and specifically for resources that are available in Cook County. And if you don't want to go online, you can call Aging Well Resources. I should know this number because I'm the Aging Well Resources Care Navigator. And so if you call, you will actually not talk to a computer or a phone tree. You'll talk to actually me. And the phone number that you can call is area code 218-231-8903. Or again, online, www.agingwellresources.org. And I'll include that information in the email that I send to y'all.
Thanks, Christy. I wanted to also just do a quick pitch for the Art Colony has it's makeable for empty bowls. That's a really fun way to get into an Art Colony class. So you don't have to feel like it's a lot of money or that it's a lot of investment and you to learn a skill kind of. And that bowl gets donated and it's a great contribution to events too. And there's also a paintable day. So if you're wanting to do any of those levels, I mean, we're just so lucky in this town. We're so grateful to have you guys here, eager to find out about opportunities. Maybe we missed something. Send us an email and I'll make sure we get it sent out to people too. Thank you guys for coming. Enjoy the gift of a couple more minutes. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, everybody. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.